Meyer with my great friend JD from Garmin. JD, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, Eric.
Good, good. We're going to talk about some neat stuff today. Everybody who's paying attention, we're going to do a mini dive into the Garmin Catalyst. We're going to have JD walk us through this. JD, you probably have more experience at the track with one of these bad boys than really probably anybody I know. Could you tell us a little bit about what you do at Garmin and some of your involvement, maybe in the past couple years of product development for this?
So I've had the privilege of test driving for the Garmin Catalyst for right at 2 years now. It's one of my other duties as assigned. It's not my main task, but due to my hobby, my wife would call it obsession, that I've discovered late in life of high performance driving. I'm one of the few employees at Garmin who is uniquely qualified to help test the Catalyst.
Now, full disclosure, you're a HPDE group leader and a successful time trialer in a Mustang. Is that correct? You're not only work for the company, right? You are a driver.
I am a driver.
So true, on the record, right in front of everybody. Save you a lot of time. Be honest. Did the Catalyst make you a better driver? Putting you right on the spot.
Oh my word! The Catalyst made me a far better driver than I would have ever hoped when we launched the development effort of creating the Catalyst. Along the way, it taught us things that we didn't anticipate in the beginning.
Oh, so here's what, let me translate. Eric, we made a device, and in designing and testing the device, we learned more and more and more, which allowed more features to come out, which help drivers drive more optimally. Yeah?
That is a correct statement.
Wow. Are you saying this just because your boss is watching? Come on, be honest.
To be honest, I don't know if my boss is watching. Depending on how it ends up, then we'll see if I mention to him that I'm even doing it.
Well, the first time I talked about this with Ross Bentley, he said, Eric, I saved time. It told me how to save time. You got to try one of these. Oh my gosh. He was just ecstatic. I was like, holy smokes. And then I talked to Peter and he said the same thing, Peter Krause. And so let's jump into it. Let's do a mini dive, right? Maybe this is designed for people who might be thinking about a Catalyst, maybe own a Catalyst, want to exploit some features. Maybe they're shopping for one and they're searching for stuff on the internet. Does that work for you?
Absolutely.
All right, guys, the format we're going to use is we're going to tap into a slide deck. I'll ask JD some questions and hopefully he can volunteer some great information, and then we'll wrap up at the end. So let's get started. So if I remember right, because I have a Garmin, I've used it, this, as we briefly go down through here, my friend, we got a couple scenarios here. We got our, hey, I'm getting ready to go out on the track and I'm off the track, possibly back home, and I'm reviewing data. Am I getting that right? That's kind of the home screen, yeah?
Yes, this is where you'll be when you turn the device on.
Outstanding. So we're going to kind of just go through right here. Again, this is for folks that haven't really seen a lot of this. So you told me before that it's very important that it's specific driver related and not your fast buddy. Could you talk about that?
That is correct. Yes. So what we're looking at here is the setup for a race profile. So you tell it who you are as a driver and a couple of configuration items about you and what car you're going to drive. So the device could be used for multiple drivers and multiple cars.
No, but I always want to just, I'm always comparing against myself, correct?
So this product very specifically is designed to compare yourself to your best self, right?
Best self.
For many data systems, right? It's custom. You'll get a more advanced driver to go drive your car, collect data,
right,
and show you an example of what your car is really capable of.
Yeah, like the industry standard almost, yeah?
Yes, it is. And you can do that with this device as well. Just make sure when you put a better driver in, you set it to that driver's profile uniquely, not yours. Don't mix driver profiles.
Okay,
and the reason is The
Very
device
good.
is going to try to get you from your average to your optimal, right? And make you a more consistent optimal driver.
Aha.
Now, knowing what your car is capable of, hey, that's important.
Now, I see a couple things right here that if you're new to this, right, you're like, what the heck's going on? Could you talk briefly about what those
You
are?
bet. So this is a setup to go along with each particular driver. The Audible Prompts is a very important piece. It's one of the basic advantages to this product, that while you're on track, it will give you audible prompts, encouraging you to do better, telling you when you did better, when you didn't, so forth. So if you touch on that Audible Prompts, I think I've got an example. If you scroll down one,
All righty, we'll do that right here.
by default, the device is going to be set up for the basic race coach. It's the second row in this list, this bulleted list of menu items. If you change to the advanced race coach, it's going to give you more coaching. All right. With the basic race coach, it's going to tell you what your lap times are each time you cross the start finish line. It's going to give you compliments for times that you do significantly better in a particular segment or turn than you have before. It will also, if you're reviewing opportunities that it identifies, you can add those to the race coach. So when you're on the track, the next session, it will give you audible prompts about what to do different for that particular segment.
So
If you
I note
enable
right
it,
here that this is through the Audible feature.
yes.
The-
So it will play sound through headphones, Bluetooth earbuds, or I use in my Mustang the Bluetooth car stereo. So I listen to the car stereo.
Really?
You hear the advanced race coach suggestions while I'm on track.
Awesome. Let's keep going here a little bit, sort of getting into some setup. Now, what do we got here?
So when you select that automatic advanced race coach, it's going to start giving you suggestions such as brake later, brake less, carry more speed. Those are things that if you don't understand what it's trying to tell you, could get you in trouble. So the lawyers make us warn you that, hey, if you're using this, there's risk involved. And you need to understand that what we're trying to do is move you from your average performance to your best optimal performance.
Something that you can achieve or have achieved.
Exactly. You have already achieved. So the
It's
device,
not like we're braking at the half marker. Hey, you can go faster if you brake at the end of the back straight at 170 at the half marker.
right. It's only going to tell you what it's already observed you doing successfully that worked well for you.
Now, this one I really like. This is, I have some friends that are pilots right here, and you told me a little bit about this. Is this true? This is kind of like a pre-flight checklist of sorts?
It is exactly that. This is your chance to review once you touch that drive button on the home screen, right? Shows you, okay, this is the track you have selected and the configuration at that track.
Oh, okay. That is right here then.
Yes.
Okay.
Likewise, make sure you have the right driver profile. Whoever's behind the wheel, it should be their name there. The car you're driving, because each car has different performance, and you might have multiple cars, and you want to use this in each one. I've got both a GT350R and a Mustang GT, base 5-liter performance package Mustang.
Okay.
So
what's this here? Like a literal audio test to see if your radio or your Bluetooth's working?
This is where you double check to make sure that your radio in your car is paired and working with your catalyst, or the catalyst is working with your earbuds. And it likewise gives you a chance to check the volume. So you check the audio before you go out just to make sure the thing's working.
Gotcha.
And then you can select the
pre-flight
dry track,
checklist.
wet track.
What? No, what's this? This kind of throws me a little bit. How do you guys do this? You guys by the way, full disclosure, have my 735 for, I don't know, spend to 4 continents. I'm a Garmin fan. But you guys are smart over there. How do you get dry track on there?
So this is simply to keep your data organized. So the performance characteristics of a dry track versus a wet track are very different. Just like performance characteristics of one car versus a different car. You could even set up multiple profiles for your car with street tires and your car with racing slicks.
Wow.
right? So that as you're comparing, it's a fair comparison. That you're
So
not trying to
am I
achieve with your
selecting
speed.
dry track?
So yes, that's just a choice. You
Okay.
select dry, you touch that, it'll give you an option to select wet or dry.
So we're going to maybe talk about the weather feature that I've is pretty super slick. I think Adam told me about that. What would this be right here?
This is your last chance to check the alignment on the camera. So it has an external camera. You want to mount it as high and as center in the windshield as possible, and point that thing down
Little
over
guy
the hood.
like this, not very big.
That's
Matter of
it.
fact, so small I got to show it like that, right?
There you go. Yep. So you just want to make sure that's pointed over the hood down at the track. This is how it tells where you're at left to right on the track. GPS is accurate, but it's not that accurate. Plus, you'd have to have accurate data. So we use the picture to tell where you are laterally on the track.
We're going to get into that in a little bit, aren't we?
Yes, we will.
So we got our pre-flight checklist that make sure we're all ready to go. What I think we said that we wanted to get all the way down to here, did we?
Yes. This is the picture you're going to get at the end of a session. So you go out, you drive, it collects the data, it monitors your performance for all your laps. It comes up with an average performance, and that average performance is an intelligent average. So it looks at what you typically do through any segment, and the segments you can see how they're broken up here. It automatically determines from braking zone to braking
right
zone
here,
or from turn to turn. Yep. So those that are bolded are your opportunities, and we'll get to that in a little bit, but that's one of the advantages is this device pulls up and prioritizes for you the data analysis of where you can save the most time on track and gives you 3 goals to go work on your next session.
Now I see this right here, JD, a couple things when you say the number, both the number 3 and it says the top 3. Are these related here?
No, they're not. So the bolded things are the 3 priorities for you to work on your next session. The numbers right in the 2 columns on the right are just the data that it collected in your session you just completed, right? This is the session that started at 11:03 a.m. On November 14th. Okay, so in that session, right, my best lap was a 207.9, right? My optimal lap was a 207.12. Now, it's very important to understand that the theme behind this product is, again, we're trying to get you from your average performance to your optimal performance. So right here, it's showing me my theoretical optimal lap. And there's a patent pending algorithm that we created to determine your optimal lap. Very important feature of the product, probably the most important and my favorite feature. In fact, it will stitch together a video and allow you to watch it to prove to you that it's physically reproducible. So it puts together all the pieces, and those pieces are not just the segments that you see in that picture on the left. It can jump from one lap to another at any point on the track that you were at the same place laterally, going the same speed. So it identifies all of those common things and then plays the chess game and figures out what combination of those will make you the optimal total lap performance. Some segments might actually be slower. And that's the thing that's different from previous generations of similar features. You might have heard of a virtual lap that simply takes the shortest segment time for all the segments and puts them together and says, that's your virtual lap. The problem is it may not be physically possible to drive that lap, but our patent pending algorithm ensures that you could. And again, it comes back in all those pieces. It puts together the video that it collected with the camera and will show you your best theoretical lap that you actually drove and could drive again.
So the actual versus optimum, you've been using that word optimum. How do these 2 boxes relate to that, sir?
Oh, those don't relate to that either.
Oh, okay. This is good to know.
Again, just statistical analysis of your performance. So the most important to me is the one on the right in the middle, your best sequential variation. So this means your best 3 laps back to back to back. And take the average times and compare them against the fastest lap. right? And
So
how much they vary.
we're talking 3 in a row, any 3, lap 1, 2, 3, lap 7, 8, 9, lap 11, 12, 13.
Correct.
And the variation has a lot
Correct.
to do with what kind of run group, what kind of traffic, right? What who you're playing with, right?
Absolutely. But this is your consistency score. How
Okay.
consistently are you going around the track? Are you just random?
Is this a good number?
That's a pretty good number.
Okay. What would a first time user, what would they see, like a range, if you would?
So if we apply the letter grade to these, I
Mhm.
would say a letter grade A is anything from 0 to 0.5, a B 0.5 to 1, a C 1 to 2, a D 2 to 4, and anything less than a 4% variation, you either weren't trying or had so much traffic you couldn't.
Gotcha. This is super helpful.
Yep. The two numbers then below that and to the left are simply your fastest three, quickest three, I should say, laps with the shortest time, and what was their
Are
average.
you referring to this, my friend?
Correct. And then the one to the right is 5. So your best 3 and your best 5, what was their average compared to your fastest?
Oh, so for my top 5, random,
Yep.
not consecutive,
Correct.
not sequential, for my top 5 of my how many ever laps that I ran in that particular session, I was 98% consistent on
Correct.
5 of those laps. Wow, that is slick. Is that a good number? Sounds great.
For 5 laps, that's a pretty good number. It's probably not the best.
What would a grade of C be, give or take? 95%?
So I
Never put an engineer on the spot with a question he's not ready for.
yeah, I wouldn't apply a letter grade to that one. Because again, that's the more laps you have, the more variation you're gonna have, especially for HPDE driving, where you again mentioned you had traffic, so forth.
Yeah.
It could be that if you're a really good driver, you should have something less than 5 even there if you had the opportunity for it.
Gotcha.
So if you get slowed down by traffic and so forth, then there just may not be 5 laps that could be there. So applying a letter grade to those is less important, I think, than that letter grade that goes with your 3 sequential laps. Now, again, if you're running time trials, then that number ought to be 0.1. If you're an HPDE driver, say anything less than 1 is a very respectable number for your best sequential variation.
Awesome. So we've got 3 opportunities here, and we're going to briefly discuss opportunity 1. We're going to jump into opportunity 2 and then kind of summarize with opportunity 3, correct?
Yes.
And all those opportunities, just so everybody knows, are these highlighted areas that we're going to refer to a couple times. This will be 1, and this is 2, I believe, right? And this is
correct.
3 as we go through.
Yes.
All right. Let's go right through this to the next slide and jump in, my friend. I'm looking forward to get into this. So I see right here, right? I see opportunity 1. I see the overview that's highlighted. I see that same section of track that we just referred to, which looks exactly like this.
Correct.
Could you tell me kind of what you're looking at and decipher some of this for new folks?
You bet. So on screen here, if we just see what's here, on the right, there are 3 little graphs. The top one's for acceleration, the middle one for speed, the last one for time. And really, I start with that last one on the bottom right. That is showing you the amount of time savings. And the 3 opportunities are prioritized based on time. If you look right below overview and braking, near the top in the graphic area. So it says I can save 0.29 seconds in
just this little area.
Correct. And then the lower right-hand corner graph shows you the purple line represents your optimal performance, the white your average. And so you can see where along the timeline you can have that savings. If you notice the little dots that are there, white and purple, those are all synchronized. And if we were watching this in real time, a video would be worth, you know, if a picture's worth 1,000 words, a video is worth 10,000. But those dots move from left to right or from beginning to end of segment.
Let's show folks how to do that and what that means. So track direction is this way.
Yes.
This beginning of this segment, which is the same segment right here, that our good friend Catalyst says, man, there's 3/10 that you can get optimal in the purple.
Yes.
This start of the segment is right here. All three of these things are the same. This location here is the same location here in every single one of those cases.
Correct.
So we're almost to the end. We got a little bit left down here, which is a little bit left over here. How am I doing?
So you can see there's a little bit of a knee in the curve on that purple line in the bottom.
This one here?
Right. So right there, it's in this last tight piece of this turn where I could save the most, right? And this is another example of slow in, fast out. So if you look at the acceleration.
So just so everybody knows, this drop right here indicates time savings.
Correct.
So that slope change, almost like a kink, right, is you're looking here. Your eye says, I need to go here.
Correct. Now there's still some time savings in the beginning, right? But if you look at the next graph
from here to here, from the beginning of the segment to just before, right? Just before where the dots are, someplace in here.
Right.
From here to here. Wow.
So if you look at the purple line in the speed graph, you can tell the purple line's a little above the white line. Not a lot, but every little bit counts.
And you're looking right here for that.
Agreed. So one of the themes here is just carry more speed, right? Don't slow down as much. The car can do it. You did it before, right? That's where you're going to get the performance that gives you that time savings in the bottom.
So this is great. What do I do? What do I do with this? This is great. I see it. Wow, 3/10. What do I do, my friend? What would be your advice? Where do we go from here?
All right. So let's, across the second row at the top there, you can see overview, braking, apex, speed. So let's step down to the touching the braking button. So
this one here.
The three graphs on the right don't change. That's all the same. But you see the animation as the dots are.
So these are the, whoopsie, pardon me here. So what you just said is this part is the same.
Correct.
Okay.
The graphic then on the left 2/3 of the screen is really what's different.
This is all new here. Can you help us with this half over here, sir?
You bet. So it's showing you your braking performance, again, would be animated. Now here we're coming out of the turn, so we're starting to accelerate. So it turns green at the beginning where you see the red color. The two bars on the left would be red in that zone, right? So this is a little bit of a complex turn because there's really two different deceleration areas, you know, coming into the what really I'll call
as noted by red, correct?
Yep. There you go. So
red is decel.
Okay. Where you're decelerating, and it's showing you then the speeds also for the optimal versus the average.
So we're talking right here?
Yep.
And we're talking right here. Wow, look at that. 1 mile an hour in both cases. Wow.
So not much difference, but it still is my best opportunity to trim 0.3 seconds off of my my lap time.
So we want to make sure everybody sees this. We got a purple, 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 a purple. There's a theme here, right?
Yes.
Right there. Wow. So I see the video down here in the lower left corner. Or before we go there, you shared something with me earlier about what to do differently. This is going to show us and tell us what to do differently. Yep. Is that on this screen right here?
If you read the text right above the graphic, it says you achieve your fastest time when you braked, later 7 feet, and harder 10%.
So we're talking about braking 7 feet later here.
Yep.
I was driving the white. It says brake 7 feet later to get closer to the purple and 10% harder to get closer or achieve the purple.
Correct.
Wow. And what kind of time savings would Uncle Garmin give us for something like that?
So I believe this one said you have to go back a screen, but
Okay.
0.29 seconds.
Ah, right here.
Yes. It likewise shows you right above the graphic there.
Oh, and right here too. I'm going to show that to everybody so everybody can see that real well here. There's a lot of consistency when you have a little decipher. Again, the purples, right? There's our corner in question, right? Here's the 2.9 out here, right? And back to the purple. We're looking at purple, 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 purple. Let's go back to the screen we were just on, please. And I see that, again, all of these right here, easy to follow for new folks. All of that's the same, right? There's our 2.9 theme, our 2.9 3/10, and right?
Yes.
Right. Anything about any of this that is helpful to know for a new person or a user that's trying to extract all the performance out of this powerful unit?
So the lower left corner there has pictures of what it looks like for your average, where you started braking versus
Are you
your
talking about
optimal where you
that's
started
going to
braking.
talk about this right here?
It's really the beginning of that section right there.
In here.
No, the right section. Just it's not the whole braking zone. This is the snapshot at the beginning. When did you start the knee of that curve where your acceleration graph is dropping?
Well, how about we go right to that and you can walk us through that, please?
So I don't think I've got an example of that one for opportunity 1, but I do for opportunity 2. And I was trying to save screenshots here just so it's not overwhelming.
Yep.
And there's a specific element in the opportunity 2 pictures that help, right?
Well, let's go right to opportunity 2, right?
There you go.
So just to remind everybody, so they're not overwhelmed. I know a lot of this can be new. This was the second, excuse me, please. This was the second opportunity that Garmin told us. This was the first, right? I believe over here was the third. So we're going to look at number 2.
Correct.
Right here, a different corner, a different opportunity. Take us away, my friend.
So I want to start with the 1, 2, and 3 are your best opportunity, your next best opportunity, and your third best opportunity. All right.
Oh, so it prioritizes the largest gain potential. This is not organized
by the sequence of the track or by what you're looking at. It's prioritized by time savings.
Okay.
The first one is 0.29. This one is 0.25.
Ah, right here.
The third one is going to be either 0.25 or less, right? Because they're in order of time savings.
So 2.5 tenths is huge for just for one corner. Can you tell us what we're looking at here, my friend?
And the average time here was not necessarily slow either. But again, here, if you look to the lower right, there you can see where in the sequence is the significant time savings.
So you're talking about that slope change and right in here?
Right there, right? There's the knee in the curve. We're right to come over that, and it's right at the entry into this is kind of a double apex turn. You drive it as though it's one turn, one steering input. It's a fun turn too, because it results in an increasing radius. So once you get to that first apex, you can start putting the power back in and all the way through till you come out. And then this obviously ends into a right-hand turn and dives down into the canyon. This is Eagles Canyon Raceway. Lots of elevation change. Fun track. If you've never been there, you should go. So that's where the time saving starts, and it just grows from there.
Meaning and again, from here,
correct,
forward, which is the same thing as. So we're really saying how do we get in better so we can get through and out better?
There you go. That is absolutely correct. So if you look at the middle graph,
here, I see something right here that's pretty interesting. It's in kind of finer print. It might be hard for folks to read. Optimal line is 3 feet longer than your average line. Could you help us understand that?
So what it's trying to look at there is sometimes it's just as easy as the shortest distance between 2 points in straight line. It's not necessarily the fastest line. So here it's saying it's actually a little longer for the path that saved, but by only 3 feet. So That's barely a difference. So to me, that's a wash, right? Now, you'll see some turns where that number is really big. And if you talk to our good friend Ross Bentley, he'll tell you that not only is the corner before the longest straightaway important, but also any corner that you spend a lot of time in. So a really long, high radius carousel type turn is also an important turn. My home track in Topeka, Kansas, Heartland Motorsports Park, is an example of one of those. It has a 180-degree turn, large radius. You spend a ton of time in there. And that was one of those things that the Catalyst taught us. And Ross really drove it home when he was there testing with us, that that's an important turn. And I could save nearly a half a second by taking an inside line versus the line that I was taught when I first started driving.
That's valuable. Wow.
And it was, part of it was just, you're going such a shorter distance and you can barely go faster because of the high radius that the whole turn is. The difference between the inside and the outside is just not that much. So the speed you can carry is pretty close, but the distance you travel is like, don't waste your time going around the outside of that turn, trying to make a larger radius, because the difference in radius is so tiny, but the difference in distance, because it's so long.
So you're bringing up a really great point. So sometimes there's a debate amongst drivers about that. Do I take a wider radius at a longer radius at 2 more miles an hour, or a shorter radius at 2 miles an hour less average?
And that's
what this would tell us that. This would say, hey, right?
It answers the question.
Wow.
Go drive both and then it'll tell you.
So this was the one that I thought was really, really powerful. Can you break this down for us, sir?
Yes.
We're still at opportunity 2, same corner, right?
Yep. So same dual apex turn. Here, if you look at the upper left there, you achieve your fastest time when you brake later by 10 feet, shorter by 0.21 seconds. So start later. Now here's the one where the picture really stands out, right? So if we jump ahead, as though we touch the lower left corner there, one of those two pictures, and it'll blow it up for us.
Would you like to go there right now?
Yeah, let's go there now. We'll come back.
Okay, let me do a little TV timeout right here, right?
There it is. So here,
this is what pops up right here.
Yep. It's just a blow up of those two pictures.
Okay.
But now you can see, again, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Where should you start braking? Well, it was faster when you broke at the 2 instead of before the 2.
Wait a minute. It's saying where to brake. It's
where to brake. These snapshots came from the knee and the curves on the acceleration graph. So now go back.
Okay.
And if you see the acceleration on the right there, you can tell the purple line
on the right.
Yeah, the right graph of the 3, the top one.
We're referring to this one.
Yep. So look at the purple line versus the white line. See how it stays high longer?
So we're referring to this right here.
At a very similar slope. But the purple one is to the right of the white line. So the purple one represents braking later, not by a lot. And you can see it in that picture, right?
When you say
here, it's saying distance-wise is 10 feet.
When you say the picture, you're referring to this one.
Correct. Yep.
So would you break this down a little bit and make it super easy? Because this is so simple. I thought some people are just smoked, right? It's just
right.
Incredible.
This is day one high performance driving, right? You got to pick visual reference marks for when to start braking. So you're full throttle till you get to the braking point, and you get off the throttle under the brake as quickly as possible, and you reach threshold braking as quickly as possible without slamming on the brake, right? Nice smooth pedal application, but you want to get there quick. But when did you push on it? Did you push on it when you were
talking about braking right here on the track, which is right here up here for our optimal, versus here's what we're doing every time we're back here.
That's my average. My average was braking at about 1.5, maybe 1 3/4. But it was better when I broke at the 2 braking marker.
Do we know exactly that distance by chance of about how far that is?
It's not far, but yes, we do. So go back to the first picture. It actually tells you 10 feet later.
Oh, looky there, everybody. Holy smokes. Wow. And what do we have here? I know the purple, right? The purple relates to the purple, relates to the purple, relates to the purple, relates to the purple. What
Correct.
is this right in there, my friend?
So that's showing you the braking zone. So you can see what speed you were at as you entered the braking zone and where the braking zone started. The outside line is the optimal line. The inside line, and it's not to represent the left side or the right side of the track. It's literally the same track, right? It's just the outside is optimal. The inside
This
is
was the this was 97 miles an hour, 10 feet later,
correct.
as represented in these videos as
Bet
well,
I
right?
was still on the
As
gas for
represented
another 10
right
feet.
in here a little bit,
Uh-huh.
and the savings related to in here.
Yep.
Wow. And these two numbers?
That's at the end of the braking zone, the point that I had released the brakes and entered the turn.
Oh, we're 2 miles an hour faster.
Uh-huh.
That's
1 mile an hour
huge.
faster going in, 2 mile an hour at the turn in point. So
And
again, the theme is
there's our quarter of a second.
uh-huh.
Wow.
Carry more speed.
Awesome. Moving right along here so we don't get overwhelmed for everybody. The next slide for opportunity two. Is this something we want to touch on? It looks a
Yep.
little
So
different.
this shows you basically where did you apex. And you can see by the little triangle legends, the apexes are effectively the same. So I'm driving the same line. I'm just braking a little later, carrying a little more speed. So there's really nothing to do different from this picture. So you can touch that speed button at the second row at the top. And it'll take us to the third one.
Okay. So I really like this because all the purples are really just coming home, right? Turn in apex. I see the apex is here. We just did the braking. We started with the overview and we're getting ready to go to speed. And all these are the same every single time for that opportunity with a quarter second. I need more scribbles on this. You guys should see me on a whiteboard with colored markers. I'm dangerous, guys. So we're talking about now here.
Yeah. So that's speed. So here you can see the numbers spread around throughout the turn where you enter the braking zone. The color coding on the actual track surface itself, green is faster, yellow is medium, red is slower. So you get a feel for what those are. So you can see coming out, the speed ends up being about the same. Now, that's partly because we're going into another turn here, right? So the entry speed to the next turn is affecting this exit a little bit. But again, you can see where the apex markers are. Or wait.
So I want to decipher this for dumb guys like me who own every data system out there or have owned. So it looks like each of these icons is also represented in here. And again, optimal and average. And the first one is talking about, these are all in mile per hour, right? It says, hey, we're 3 mile per hour faster here. Here was our apex. Excuse me.
No, that's actually the minimum speed. Sorry.
Oh, it is right there.
Ahead.
I see that. Can you tell us what that is?
So at the point of the turn that you were going the slowest.
Aha, min speed. Got it. Min speed. And it said right there, if I can read that, looks like 53 and 52, a little bit covered up.
Correct.
Sorry about that. That's my fault. Wow. It says it's got some summary right here of almost 3 miles an hour, right? Which is right here. And it has, we've got 1 more mile an hour right here on this icon. Is that synonymous with track out, turn exit?
Correct. That's your track out point where now you're going straight. So you stop turning.
And here's where we're flat on the floor and going to the next
right. Here's what I'm saying. There's really not much of a straightaway following this turn because you roll right out of one turn into the next, right? And then the next, the right-hand turn diving into the canyon. So on a on a long straightaway, right, you'll see a difference.
So this is going to show me something like this for the 3 opportunities after that session is over that I have the most opportunity to go after a big optimal gain. 3 big optimal gains.
Correct.
Wow.
These should be your 3 goals. These are your best opportunities to improve your driving performance.
Wow. And without getting in the weeds real quick, we're going to go here. There's another third opportunity with the same kind of things. Here's braking right here, right? Here's apex, right? And speed, again, for 3 opportunities.
Yep. If you look at this one, you've got a little more straightaway at the end of this segment before you brake for the next one, right? So there you can see there's a little
we're talking
more
about here.
substantial difference, right? At
And
the
here.
end of that straightaway,
all right, going this
look
way.
at those speed differences.
Wow, that's big. And just two tenths right here. Wow, holy smokes, Arama right there, 6.4 miles an hour. Let's get close to summary. And I know that you said you wanted to go right to this slide. Bear with me, guys. We're going to go to this one. We started off, right? Was it there?
Yes. So again, from here, this is your summary. From here, you can get to your opportunities. You can also look at all of your individual lap times, including your average lap time. Again, that's the intelligent average that throws out warm-up lap, cool-down lap, traffic, mistakes, so forth. So it's showing you all of the typical performance through segments and adds that up to be one entire lap that represents what your intelligent average is. It's not your total average, because that would make things slower than what would be realistic, right? This is at your typical performance through every segment. Now, there are times when your best lap may be slower than your intelligent average lap. If you're out there with lots of other traffic in an HPDE event, right, at various turns at various times, they're going to slow you down. But it's monitoring what's your typical performance through a turn when you're not being slowed down or not making a mistake or not warming up or cooling down, so forth, right? And it's comparing that intelligent average against your very best optimal pass through that segment that is trying to drive you to be consistently at your best. So while you're on track and it's giving you instructions and telling you to brake later or brake harder or brake less or brake softer or carry more speed, right? All of those phrases and more are going to be things that's going to tell you with enough time for you to react going into the next left turn or the next right turn is how it will describe it to you. And not only that, but when you come out the other side, it will give you immediate feedback for how you did, right? It may say, keep pushing, meaning your performance was less than your average. Or it might say, good work, nice job, something like that, to indicate that it was above average, but not quite halfway to your optimal.
Right.
And if it says,
it's your dad giving you your compliment or your grandma, right?
Right.
That was so good. Come on, son.
My favorite phrase.
Yeah.
When you come out of a sequence and you did what it suggested, and it says new best.
Oh, baby.
Meaning you just beat your optimal.
So question on that. I got to think that since it's telling us specifically what and how to do, literally in an audible and a visual signal and both, is it, my gut says that these things move around, and as we get master that, it might come over here and show this one the following day. Yeah, no, right. Real life?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Once you become more consistent and closer to your best performance there.
To your optimal purple.
Right. Now then, the next time it goes through the data analysis after your next session, it may pick 3 different turns.
No kidding.
Because those now have become the ones where you have the most opportunity to save time.
Wow.
After every session, it's going to have your top 3. Again, you don't have to be a data analysis expert to go figure that out. it will do it for you and pulls it right up to the top and says, here they are. Work on these 3 things. Even if you didn't go past that first layer, and I like to think of it as like there's details in 3 layers. There's that summary, which gives you the nice bolded area. Here's the places that you ought to work better, right? It tells you how consistent you were. It shows you, okay, what was your actual best time? How far apart is that from your optimal time, right? Now, the next layer of analysis, you jump down what we just did. We walked through just looking at that first level of detail. There's yet another level of detail, even lower than that you could step into by viewing the segment. And you can ultimately view every segment in the track.
Do I have to drill down into a lot of detail after every session? Because let's pretend I'm an instructor. I got to go to my download meeting, meeting my buddy for a sandwich. I got to go to the bathroom. I got to swap my tires.
Yes, you have to do all those things. You don't have time to do data analysis. That's the beauty of this product. It does the analysis for you, prioritizes it, pulls it to the surface, gives you a nice, quick, actionable summary of what you can do different to move your average performance up to your best performance and be more consistent.
And just to confirm, it's going to take those previous sessions that I did on Saturday, and Saturday afternoon, when I go out and hit the track, it's going to say, hey, brother, to go after some of these purple opportunities, you need to ...
Correct.
Wow.
And it will accumulate all of your performance throughout an event up to 4 days.
Wow. So
And
it'll
put
work
all
for
of that
Sunday.
together.
Wow. So
Yeah.
even though my tires might be a little greasier, let's say, or maybe my tires are better. So let's do that. Sunday, I put on some stickers, and Saturday it was, I had my old scrubs on.
So again, that's where I was saying you might want to change the profile of your car. If you significantly change your car in some way, it's not really comparable. So now then you're going to be referencing data that's not representative from before.
It's like rain versus dry.
Right. Exactly. You want to have similar, close conditions in order to compare against those to have any hope, right? If your tires truly are wearing out and they're not getting the same traction, you're not going to be able to achieve your optimal. So it's going to get kind of frustrating there. So keep all of that in mind in terms of what it is it's trying to do for you. The same thing can happen in terms of just car performance, morning versus afternoon, right? I compete in time trials. You rarely get your fastest time in the afternoon in time trials. It's just practice in the afternoon, right? Because the car performs better in the cooler temperature. Now, depending on other weather conditions, it might have been damp, slick, who knows what, that you broke or you made a mistake, whatever, right? So you might still get a faster time, but generally speaking, it's the second session in the morning. So keep those things in mind as you're trying to utilize the data. But I would argue that in my experience, if I really use the information the Catalyst is providing me, I can make up that difference in car performance because I'm following the instructions of the racing coach throughout the event, right? It keeps getting me more and more consistent at my best performance through every segment because it's talking to me on track.
So I'm going to lean in for this. What you just said is when the air gets thinner and the tires are a little more greasier and I'm going slower in the afternoon, I can still get better so that Sunday morning, I can give it heck and be faster.
There you go.
Wow.
I wouldn't say do that on Sunday morning first lap.
Right. Yeah.
Get back in the groove and then listen to your racing coach and she'll help you do better.
Hey,
more
JD, before we wrap up here, full disclosure, guys, we shared a little bit of notes. The folks at Garmin are wonderful. That's not a commercial. I'm not a paid endorsement guy, but I do love my Garmin.
Thank you.
Number 5, you had some of your favorite features. Could you touch those before we do a sign off here?
So in terms of summary, there's a few fundamental things. 1, no math degree required. 2, no computer required. You do it all on the tablet. It has a magnetic mount. You can
Mhm.
just pop the thing, grab hold of it, and take it out of the car with you after your session, and it prioritizes your top 3 goals automatically for you. I mean, by the time you can look at it, it's already done that analysis that a professional coach would be doing, in the background while you're going to the bathroom and getting a drink, right? You come back, it's like, so where can I go faster? I've narrowed it down to these 3 places. It does that, right? And it's not instantaneous. It takes a few seconds to do the analysis, but it pops it up and brings it to the surface. Focus on these 3 things, right? With actionable coaching,
Yeah.
you can use in your very next session. I mean, you're still at the track.
Yeah.
How many people collect data, go home? Okay, the next time I go to an event at that track, I'm going to do these things different. No.
Yeah.
Next session, I go in another hour or hour and a half.
This is ideal for a HPD person that has some classroom in their
Yeah,
schedule.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
The other things I would say, if you compare this to other products, and this is across the board at Garmin, one of the things I've worked at Garmin for over 31 years, and we take pride in ease of use. So compare this product to any of the other products that do similar things. And there is no product that does the same thing, but there's data analysis involved in many of these products, right? That we're doing that for you, that somebody else would have to do for you. But just to get the data out, I would argue that this is an easy to use, intuitive interface, right? Uses a touchscreen with descriptive text, numbers, animated track maps. We just saw some of those. You can't see the animation in the screenshots, but those dots move across the screen synchronized so that you can tell where each one of those things lines up and where it's at on the track as it's going through.
Let's do another video in the future and get into some actual video and some of those strong features that are just, guys, they're powerful.
Yes. Yes.
What do we see you? Are you a road warrior? Do you get out and about? You were mentioning all these tracks and 2 years of driving.
So we have a thing we put together that we refer to as our Garmin Pit Crew. That is the development team, and not only the development team, but people like me that are test driving the product. So we have beta testers around the world that have all contributed to creating this product, right? Helping to test it in different ways with different levels of expertise. So if you go to the Garmin website, you look up the Catalyst, there's a little link there that goes to the Garmin Pit Crew. So they're sending a few of us in the Pit Crew out into the world to help promote and demonstrate and answer questions. And I've gotten to go to a handful of events so far since we launched the product.
So folks may or may not see you, possibly. Depends on how busy
so I get to go out, I get to wear my Garmin logo.
And you're going to be at every track event every weekend, right?
I can't get that many, but I'll do as many as they'll let me go to.
That's awesome. Maybe in the bottom of the link here on the video, I'll link to your Garmin website and your Facebook page. And as that information becomes available, we can share that. Maybe if you want to see one of these bad boys and meet JD, you could. You're already going to be at the same event that he's planning on going to.
You bet.
My friend, this has been absolutely wonderful. I learned more about the features than I did actually using it. So it's been very helpful to me, which means I can be helpful to others as well. JD, thank you so much. I look forward to the next time we do this. We'll do a little deeper dive, right? Get into some actual video, play some video and talk about more features.
You bet. You are welcome.
All right. Everybody, I'm Eric Meyer, and on behalf of JD and Garmin, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.